beautiful people, welcome back to our channel. You're here with me, Sarit and Stevie K. Okay, today guys, we're watching Let's Check If You're Brainwashed About India, Karolina Goswami.
Yeah, this we've been sent last year actually, and I'm sorry it's taken that long, but also recently it's been sent again several times. It's been like continuous, but obviously we can only do so much. I'm not going to go into that, but we're there now. So I wanted to check what this is all about. I don't know how to take that, you know what I mean? In the sense that let's check if you are brainwashed about India. I mean, we Indians, I know we live in the UK, so we've been brought up knowing about Indian culture, what our grandparents did and what our parents did, because they're all born in India. And we've been grown up watching Indian films. We've been grown up celebrating, you know, Diwali, Vaisakhi and festivals in the UK in our homes. You know, you get changed, you go to the Gurdwara, go to the Mandir, whatever like you might be doing. You know, so we always were speaking Punjabi or Hindi at home with our uncles, our relatives, our grandparents and stuff like that. So it's basically our culture. So I'm guessing this is more probably, I don't know, maybe, you know, is it, you know, I'm guessing everyone else is more or less done a reaction to it, and they've sent it in. I mean, we are sort of brainwashed in a way, but I think, what are you with brainwashed? If it's your culture, it's what you are. It's regardless of where you live. That's how I always think.
I just guess people want to know what our opinion is on it. Like,
but it might be that think of what do people who live outside think about India, I'm guessing, or their perceptions of it, or their views on it. But ours is whatever we've been to India about 9 times, 10 times maybe, something between us kind of thing. Or probably a bit more, but it'll be interesting. Anyway, we thought, okay, we'll give it a go. Let's have a look. Let's see what it's all about. We could be wrong. Yeah, and if you're new to our channel, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Also check out our other channel, which is called Our Touch. I'll put the links in the description below. Also let us know what else you guys want us to make. So let's have a look. Here we go.
Many of you have seen people of Indian origin in your country. How do you perceive them? And how do you perceive India? Many of you think of India as a country of poverty, slums, dirt, rapes and caste system. And many of you got introduced to India through the famous movie Slumdog Millionaire. And then there are some of you who know India for its Bollywood and yoga. Well, it is not entirely your fault that you think this way, and there is no doubt that India does have its imperfections, but India is definitely not what we are shown in our countries. Like many of you, I was also a victim of the mainstream media in my country until I ended up living in India and started to keenly observe this country. And of course, to understand India and its mechanism, one really needs to have fine-tuned senses. Next time you see Indians in your country, remember that their country is being transformed into something like this.
Amazing, huh?
However, you are mostly shown only that. And of course, many of you were never told that for many years India has been one of the fastest growing major economies of the world. Are you worried that Indians are stealing your jobs in your countries? No, you are not fully informed. Perhaps you do not know that Indians are also providing thousands of jobs in your country, and they are doing it in different parts of the world. There are more than 800 Indian companies in the UK, which employ around 110,000 people. In the USA, Indians-owned firms employ more than 600,000 employees. Have you noticed that when the media in the West talks about rapes in India, they rarely talk about the rape rate statistics, and probably it is because India is nowhere close to the Western countries in rape rate. Yes, I'm aware that while talking about rape, one must consider things like underreporting, marital rape, homosexual rape, false filing, law of rape, conviction rates, and many other factors. And that is why I sincerely recommend you to dig a bit deep into this and analyze where your own country stands before you become a victim of the mainstream or fake stream media. By the way, were you also told that the so-called developed countries do not only have a much higher rape rate, but also their citizens travel abroad to rape the citizens of poor countries? Europe, North America, Australia, New Zealand are some of the main sources of international child sex tourists who perform sex crimes in other countries. Were you also told that many Western women travel abroad to enjoy female sex tourism? And it is difficult to believe that the boys who are hired by these rich women are in some cases not underage. India has always been a multicultural society, and yes, in one way or another, discrimination may exist in India too. But wait, which country is crime-free? Is your country crime-free? Is there no discrimination in your country?
Yes, there is.
India is a country where its minorities are allowed to thrive and grow in numbers and also in percentage. India is a country where many dharmic traditions like Jainism, Sikhism, Buddhism and Hinduism were born. And the people of India have even accommodated the ideologies and religions that did not originate from their own land. When I first heard of Indian caste system in my country through our media, it was not even mentioned that in India, not only the minorities, but also the members from those societies which are also known as low caste, end up becoming presidents, vice presidents, prime ministers, and chief ministers. Has the media in your country told you about this when they talked about Indian caste system to you? Has the media in your country also mentioned that India has already had a female president and a female prime minister?
That can happen in
I
India,
know
really.
that in many so-called developed countries, many low-skilled immigrants from poor countries are purposely and temporarily brought to do low-class and dirty jobs. These poor people are kept in substandard conditions, and after the job is finished, they are sent back to their own countries. The developed countries make the most of their strong currencies, and their own citizens shy away from doing small jobs. Well, these developed countries are so smart that they perform oppression on the humans that they import, and then later, very cleverly they dispose them. Can we call it exploitation too? Indians are extremely self-critical and they are genuinely concerned about their problems. They do have the intentions to fix their problems, and they do not shy away from talking loud against their democratically chosen governments. But you must remember that when Indians talk loud about their problems, it does not mean that they want to replace India for anything else. And it must be pointed out that Indian media has not really started ridiculing the Western countries yet, even though many Western countries love to present themselves as some kind of role models. These Western countries continue to forget that they can also easily be ridiculed for their wealth inequality, crimes, intolerance, rapes, poverty, and even hunger. Perhaps Indians are more interested in self-correction than ridiculing others. For sure, Indians know very well that tragedy is not a competition. Indians are not only providing jobs around the world, they are even feeding many hungry and poor outside India by their philanthropic work through their temples and gurudwaras. And very importantly, they are not expecting anyone to embrace Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, or Hinduism. There is no doubt that India does need to improve its modern waste management infrastructure, as many of its streets continue to look dirty, even though an average Indian produces far lesser waste than an average American or European. Also, the per capita emissions from India are so low in comparison to the USA or China, and Indians are nowhere close to the West when it comes to historical emissions. For all these years, you were told about the poor sanitation of India, but you were never told that Indians were also the pioneers in ancient sanitation system long before the Western countries got civilized. But of course, it shouldn't matter today. Even after 70 years of its independence, India is still not open defecation free. The government of India is running some massive scheme to build millions of toilets, and only time will tell if that is going to be enough or not. Not many people know that when it comes to defecation, some citizens in the Western countries have a strange addiction, or rather a disorder, and this is where a potential exchange can take place between India and the West. India can bring the latest sanitation system techniques from the West, and the West can benefit from the authentic yoga from India that can help those Western citizens who are suffering from such disorders or addictions. But of course, it can only happen if the Western societies are brave enough to address their embarrassing problems and not just sweep them under the rug, as it is very well known that such kind of disorders and addictions have been reflecting in the Western adult film industry as well. Not many people know that India has nuclear weapons, and it is said that India has the fourth strongest military in the world. But India does not believe in muscle flexing like China or the USA, and neither it believes in expansionism. And yes, India is not a world leader in everything. It's not a world leader in earning money by selling weapons. It stands nowhere when it comes to earning money by selling crude oil. However, its space agency ISRO does earn money by sending satellites in space for a very cheap price, fulfilling the satellite dreams of poor countries, and also by helping the advanced countries which want to save money. India is not a leader in the porn industry, and neither it is a top destination for sex tourism. Mostly, Indians are just very simple and kind-hearted people, and only some of them know that their land was the richest in the world for thousands of years, and it was gradually pushed into poverty as it was exploited, looted, and colonized by its invaders and colonizers. And these unfortunate victims, who have just tasted their independence after centuries of oppression and atrocities, are finally rebuilding their country in an extremely democratic environment that may slow down things a bit for them, but at least their system attempts to involve everyone in the rebuilding of their nation. The good news is that India's rise is unlikely to cause any country a demographic trouble, as India's dharmic institutions are not interested to convert you from your religions. Not just that, we are not really going to face any brown supremacy, even though Indians themselves come in all skin colors and features. It is also highly unlikely that Indians will hate you, even though many of you may have developed prejudices against them because of the mainstream media houses, which for some special reasons are overplaying and sensationalizing their problems. Indians are gentle, accommodating, compassionate, hospitable, and yes, they do not have a fake smile. Their smiles are still very real, and most importantly, they are forgiving. Look how they even welcome the people from the land of their ex-colonizers in their country, even today. Before you comment on India, remember that the countries which were never colonized will not easily understand what it means to suffer from a post-colonial identity crisis. India may have its imperfections, and in this process of rebuilding, it will make its share of mistakes, and it will learn from them. Perhaps we also need to learn how to build a relation with Indians on equal terms, with mutual respect, without feeling superior or inferior, while focusing a bit more on ourselves to address our own embarrassing problems. See you again.
That was so well presented.
It really was.
She presented it really
yeah.
well. I didn't know where it was going to go when it started. Like, you know, let's check if you were brainwashed about India.
Yeah.
I thought it was like going to be something totally else, and that's why I was saying what I did. But
well done. Like to highlight the things that it was really good.
like the fact that, you know, like this. I mean, you know, majority of it, like, you know, it is true what they try.
Like,
Not everything here.
Quick to talk. Like here, we do get highlights of what's going on in India and what.
But it's always a negative.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's been raped or something gone like that, and then all of a sudden it's
then
like
quick
become
enough
like
to
this.
hide their own.
Or
Problems
but you don't know obviously here what's going. You know, let's just sweep that under the carpet. We don't want that going out, kind of thing. It's like it's just like a normal cardigal kind of thing, as in but किसे होड़े हुए ते तमाशा आपदे घरे होए ते ना चुपचाप ना लुक जाओ किसी ने दसियो ना kind of thing.
You know, obviously it's a thing where tourism, they don't want people, you know, thinking twice whether they come or not.
Because it's the same thing when you get crime, say if it's in the city centres and stuff like that. I've always said to Sri, there's, even though you might not hear in the newspapers, there's always crime and issues that occur, and basically they don't want, media doesn't want to put it in the papers or the news regardless of the crime unless someone highlights it on social media. The reason being is,
even then they want to take it down quickly,
you know what, we don't want you, because basically, say for instance it's a city centre and some girl gets sexually assaulted, what ends up happening if it's after, like, you know, clubbing areas kind of thing, if that is the case, then what ends up happening is you gotta if girls all of a sudden get afraid and they're thinking we're not going to go out, then guys majority of the time are going out there because they want to either take their girlfriends out or they want to meet other girls, and if they think that girls ain't going to be around, then it's like, what's the point of not going?
Exactly.
And then if they're not going, then the clubs aren't going to be making the money to pay the taxis and the environment, and it's all to do with we need people out there regardless. So let's quash the issues,
squash everything. You wouldn't hear any problems from abroad about UK or whatever else, because that's the thing.
And the other thing, when you talk about the jobs, like, you know, people from India coming, that's what they used to think about my grandfather and my father. When they came, my grandfather came,
they don't do nothing.
Probably in the 60s, I think, I'm guessing, somewhere around there. Yeah. And he worked in factories, and again it was basically because the other people, they weren't willing to work, the people that were here, the British that were here.
They say that, you know what, they come here, they take our jobs, you know,
they don't want to do those jobs.
Nothing themselves, they don't want to do anything.
Not all everyone, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's called you know, like they sort of sign on that we can't work or we're looking for jobs, and the government pays them money weekly to, you know, they get the house given to them, they get money given to them, they, you know, they wear better clothes than the people who are working, their children are. They get food at school, and then they keep on saying we are looking for work but we can't do this, we can't do that. They don't have education, they have no interest doing it, and you can see the same people again and again, and then they complain that the only reason we haven't got it is because people are taking a job. Before it was, they would say it was people from India who came, then you know, you would like, be like, blacks have come.
There used to be remarks that,
now it's like Eastern
corner shops. Or
now it's Eastern Europeans. They say, God, Romanians are come. These Eastern European, all these people are coming.
But then again, like they said, that these are the people who actually come and do the wills, whether it's a building work, whatever, because no one else wants to do it.
When you were saying, that's what I was going to say. When my grandfather came and was working in factories, the reason being is, number one, they were willing to work for a lesser price, but number two, the hours of work used to be at certain times, like say probably be in the morning, no one wanted to work in the evening, no one wanted to work at night. But then, like, people from abroad, India and everywhere else, they would come and they would happily go, well, we'll work in the evening, we'll work at night, and for a lesser price. So they'll be working harder, working hours that other people didn't want to work, and for a price that was less. Why wouldn't they? And then obviously my dad came and done something similar, and then, you know, it just carried on, and then they started buying their own stuff, and then people started getting angry, like, look, their own shops, their own businesses, and, you know, how could they get to work for it? And then there's people who don't, so that's the only reason. It's not like, they took something away from you, so you didn't have it in the first place. But all that,
she covered quite a lot.
And how positive she presented, because it's true.
Didn't know where
like, people wouldn't know about the ice roll, and it's true how India deals with their own country, like where the others are going, we like the powers and we've got this, we capable of that. They're more or less like chop, ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਦੇ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Whatever's happening in your lot stuff, right? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਟੱਪੀ ਜਾਓ, ਠੀਕ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ. Well, for us, we like are focused on our own place, our own things. how we can
And
develop.
also that as well, like they said at the ending, like they welcome you.
Everyone, regardless.
Considering, you know, Indian loot ke lege and everything.
From
but still-
everywhere, more or less.
Yeah, but in here, like.
But they never thought themselves, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਮੁੜ ਕੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੀਏ ਜਾਂ ਉਹ smaller country. They just went, you know what, that's not us.
It isn't. And
It's not
so
us.
when people from here turn around and say, oh God, they're coming to get out, you know, they're coming to take our jobs, or these Indians, or there's too many, you think,
And think,
"Charles, well, hold on, we could-
ਉਹ
we
ਲੋਕਾਂ
don't
ਨੇ
really
ਕੀ
know where if it wasn't
I
from
mean,
going to India.
and not only that, ਉਹ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੀ ਹਨਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ, you know what I mean, jobs, lives, ਖਾਣਾ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ, ਉਦੋਂ ਤਾਂ ਰੋਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਹਨਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਰੋਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਫਿਰ.
jobs ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਪ ਹੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ.
I was going to say at the same time, growing up in the schools and stuff, we didn't have that whole, you know, the caste things and stuff like that. That's one thing I am happy about.
I did.
Like Sweet probably did, but like I said,
went to a Catholic
I mean,
school.
people probably like again, it's to do with areas and places. It's not, you know, like sometimes I look and I just go, like that. It's and people go, hey, we've been in this part and it is true. Other people will say, Street has experienced it. I've not experienced it.
Yeah.
So
I went to a Christian Catholic school, so it was very much like.
So yeah, so she's got it. But like that's why we have different views. Like sometimes people will say, "Oh God, you didn't. Oh, it did happen." I'm not saying it doesn't. It all depends on where it is. And don't get me wrong, I didn't grow up in any posh part of the UK or anything like that. But in our place, it was, I think, even now, quite multicultural, wasn't it? In the area that I grew up in, it was, we were like white, Indian, black, different castes, different religions, Muslim, and we all just it just seemed like we were accepted, and I mean there was the odd little issues here and there, but that could happen anywhere.
For us, it was one of those schools that is hard to get into. First of all, it's Catholic, and you know, my dad had come here, and with his family background, they're so educated in India, so he wanted a really good school for us. So he got us into a Christian. It was like a Catholic school where you had to be baptized and what have you. And there was like probably a handful of Indians in the whole school, like probably even less than a handful of Indians. And it was more like, you know, it was quite. We had a lot of issues.
But I was going to say, with Tata and everyone else, like these, there are so many companies in the UK, and majority of, like you said, like big massive businesses are got.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can look now, even in Parliament itself, the people like, you know, working alongside the Prime Minister are Indian.
Yep.
Yeah. So how far come up regardless, but like I says, I mean, yeah, so many countries around the world still probably have their perceptions, and obviously I think Bollywood didn't help in a way either, because they sort of stereotyped, they only showed what they wanted to show.
But there is beautiful places of India. They don't always show. They come out of India to show other. And I understand that the reason for that as well, because there's obviously a lot of people can't travel and whatever. You want to show you other countries, but it'd be nice to show.
But the stories that I learnt growing up from grandparents and parents of how they grew up in India and what it was like, and you know, it just, so I think for us it was a bit different, but I think we're watching the video, it was just nice that it was positive, and there was things like I said, the ice roll, and how things, those little bits and bobs that I didn't, you know, so you don't get told here, or that you go, oh, okay, that was good. So it was a bit for everyone, I think. So I see why it was like, you know, what's that, it was nice. I enjoyed that, and I think hopefully other people who you know watch our channel from the UK or America have got different perceptions, or the way that they've been brought up thinking, they might look at this and thinking, wow, we didn't know this. So you know, it helps them out, or you know, opens their eyes to new things. That was the video, guys. Let us know what else you guys want us to make. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Take care, see you soon. Bye.